Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. My name is Ratul Shah. I'm head of product marketing. I couldn't be more excited for you to join us and how we're talking about how customer centricity is going to help you grow your business. But I'm not going to do it alone. I've got my friends with me, Naomi and Sergey.
Hi, everybody. Naomi Ko here, and I'm very excited to walk you through the key pieces and how you can transform into a customer-centric organization. Sergey.
Sergey Grini, Head of Product Management. I'm here today to welcome you, first of all, and second, I will be demonstrating our platform in action.
Exactly right. And when you think about what a customer centric organization is, it's delivering that perfect gift experience. It's knowing who your customer is, how they want to be treated, and making sure that they come back and that you're helping them become loyalists and advocates throughout the journey. But it's harder than it sounds.
Right. And if we look at it, why aren't organizations becoming customer centric? Customer centric is because today they have a lot of data silos and there's customer data within each of those data systems. There's also an inconsistency in the way data is collected, the way data is processed. There's no common data strategy in most organizations. And add to that all the different types of data and all the volume data that each system has collected has become very challenging for organizations to manage.
You're absolutely right. And how do you bring it all together? How do you actually understand who the customer is and how they need to be treated throughout that end-to-end journey? Well, Sergey, why don't you talk to us about how it all comes together?
I'll be happy to. So first of all, one of the challenges that Naomi outlined is just multiple data silos. And if you think about it, consolidating just data from multiple data silos in one data place is not going to solve the problem. What's important here is just to understand when you're building this strategy of combining all the touch points of your customers that remains in different data silos, you have to follow the right strategy. And the strategy starts with the collecting first permission-based data, enriching this data with a second-party data that business knows about you across all the touch points, kind of powering this data with a third-party data, connecting with all the touch points and experiencing and events across all the ecosystem of your business, and building this unified customer profile that it can be handed over to build the insights and execute it in real-time environment. But one important part here is it's not just consolidating the data touch points, it's also having rights to use this data in a right fashion and the commitment you're giving customer at the beginning of the journey, just to making sure that you're not violating their trust and maintaining your promise across all the touch points of ecosystem. That's where you're going to build this true relationship between the customer and the business. And that's where that customer centricity pivot becomes a reality.
That's absolutely right. When you're thinking about building trust and delivering, that's where SAP differentiates itself with our solution. That common data model, the end-to-end enterprise experience that we're able to connect from the ERP to the supply chain back through all the engagement channels. The common customer data layer is what separates us from the competition. And when you think about it, let's see how it works. So Sergey, why don't you show us what we're talking about today?
Thank you, Ratul. We've been talking about the strategy and the strategy of having successful customer data platform implementation. You have to start with really thinking of, do you have in place digital customer identity strategy? Do you have in place a privacy and consent management solution before you can get to the unification and building customer insights? So we strongly believe in order to have a quality insights, you really have to start with the quality data. And the best way of starting with the quality data is just capturing the data directly from the consumer, which we believe is the right way of doing it. And then also gathering consent from the customers and consumers to leverage data for the purpose you're intending to. So those two things are fundamental. And I would like to give you just a brief demonstration of our capabilities of combining those solutions, CIM solution, ECPM solution, and CDP to truly benefit the user experience and the business on both sides. So we're putting a lot of effort of converting customers from anonymous behavior into the semi-known, where there is enough compelling reason to identify their identities. Let's start from that stage. So we, as a part of our solutions, we're offering this lightweight registration or onboarding that could be implemented in multiple different ways. depends on the nature of your business. Let's say in this particular case, if I decided to subscribe to this newsletter, you can provide a form that collects minimal data, personal identifiable data based on the need in relevance in that particular stage of engagements to capture that individual users. And also you can see that I'm not just capturing this like personal identifiable information, but also providing my explicit consent to engage with the communication on a weekly basis through the email campaign to the newsletter. So it's a purpose, frequency, and the channel that kind of we're following the guidelines of pretty much every single regulatory requirements across the globe to properly capture the consent from the consumers. So this is like a phase one of onboarding. So we just provided a simple email address and first name and last name to kind of identify the user. But let's say there is a moment that I'm decided to kind of create my full identity, that we can leverage our, again, CIM solution that can be used either from the traditional registration forms, and again, you have full control of how the data gets collected within the system, or you can create leverage any social network, or you can leverage pay service providers to, depends on the nature of your business, to kind of minimize the friction when it comes to the onboarding identities. And you can see in this particular case, we also have like more advanced consent forms that we can capture the user consent to leverage personal data of Sergey for multiple purposes, not just within the terms of services of the digital property, but also leveraging my preferences for personalization or agree to receive digital communication policies. So in any case, I'm going to create my account, and you can see now you can see that my previous engagement within the digital asset where I subscribe to the newsletter gets carried over to my full identity. That's where the CIM and CPA solution kind of comes together to basically combine those phases of engagement across all the touch point within the business. It doesn't have to be one channel. It could be I can consent to the newsletter within the mobile environment and create my full account within the full digital property or different applications. So all that's supported, all the localized to the different regions and languages. So that is part of our CIM ECPM solution. And also you can see within my privacy console, based on the guidelines from the regulatory requirements, I do have visibility to all the documents that I consented to. I can withdraw my consent, and also gets captured and recorded within our audit log, just in case of any disputes might happen further. Moreover, all the rights of receiving the data that I've been sharing with the business, it's also available to the consumers. Same way they can download the data. Data portability is part of the solution as well. So that's kind of on the front end of capturing the identity. But let's say after I created identity, I want to transact with the business. I can, for example, purchase some of the items that, let's say, eco-friendly pots in my system. I just transact. You can see that data gets automatically kind of transacted, and also within combination of customer data platform and CPE, our CIM solution, you can see that now we're getting into this journey of progressive identity, where based on the segments that we identify within customer data platform, I'm going to show in a second how we do this. We identify that Sergey that transacted with the business and purchased, let's say, 10 units of eco-friendly products. We need to be verified if this was a conscious decision or was just accident. And if it was conscious decision, so my capturing this kind of verified data can be shared across all the touch point within the business. So my further experience within the business will be based not just on our assumption, but also on validated data within consumer directly. So how we do this, like if you look at our CIM solution, you can see within the sources of application, we have CIM integration to our digital channels, where we're creating new accounts and automatically gets syndicated within the platform. And then within the user journey, for example, you can see when Sergey is getting into the segment of eco-friendly users, we can push or trigger that kind of progressive identity and verification of the user to be confirmed that Sergey like truly kind of cares about our carbon footprint. So that's where that kind of strong partnership, unifying profiling, capturing identity, getting that data back to the CIM into dynamic segments, prompting Sergey to interact with the business. It's all captured within that one system, get shared across all the touch points, and you can see all the data gets collected, all the activities that I've triggered, my purchases, my orders. You can see all the consent that I was giving to the business all get captured in one system and can be shared across all the touch points within the enterprise um, um, landscape. So it's a very brief overview of a lot of stuff that can be delivered within the combination of CIM, ECPM, and CDP platform. Happy to give you a more deeper overview, but in that limited time, back to you, Tim.
When you think about how it all comes together, what is that perfect experience? It's the unification of all of the data based upon that first party known user, and then the ability to make sure that it's available in real time to unlock those insights. And what do you need those insights for, Naomi?
You need those insights to be able to deliver that hyper personalization across all touch points. So the ability to unify all those front office, back office data, online, offline data is what's going to allow you to personalize all those every single touch point across your enterprise. And also doing that not just within an SAP landscape, but also including your non-SAP systems in your tech stack.
And we're not stopping there. So, Sergey, why don't you tell us what's on the horizon for this year?
I'll be happy to. So we're continue investing in our long-term vision of building intelligent customer lifecycle management that help businesses to nurture a relationship across all the touch points, from the anonymous interactions to all the way to the loyalty. We also would like to offer exactly the same experience if you're interacting on behalf of yourself as a consumer, on behalf of the family, or on behalf of the business. So business to everyone is a concept that we introducing to all our applications. We're continuing investing in the native integrations into SAP ecosystem, front office, back office, but also to non-SAP systems. Continue investing in the security and also expanding our global footprint to make sure that we are offering our services across the globe to maintain compliance, regulatory compliance, in not just on a global scale, but also on the regional one.
That's absolutely right. When you think about what customer centricity is, how you tie it all together, you need to start with who the customer is, how they want to be treated, and unlock who they are. From all of my coworkers, thank you so much, and we'll look forward to seeing you in a future session.
Thank you.
Thank you.